Hey guys, Eric Sargent, General Manager at Ed Martin Toyota in Noblesville, Indiana. And today we're going to show off a 2021 Heritage Edition Land Cruiser available for sale. Let's get started. All right, so first of all, we're going to go through a couple of the differences on a Heritage versus a base 200 Series Land Cruiser, and then we'll go ahead and start walking through all the modifications that we've done to this vehicle. So the dead giveaway on a Heritage is going to be that you're going to have the bronze 18-inch forged BBS wheels. These particular wheels are made in Japan. They're totally OEM, again, made by BBS. They're powder coated in a bronze from the factory. It's the same wheel that Toyota was using for several years on the second edition Tundra. They were just black. These are bronze. So that's going to be your dead giveaway on a Heritage Edition. To the subtlenesses that Toyota is going to offer, if you really want to look close at certain trucks that maybe somebody has put the Heritage Edition wheels on, you'll notice that the headlights are actually black housing on a Heritage. On a base 2016 through 2021 200 Series Land Cruiser, they're going to be a chrome housing on the inside, and all the Heritages had a black housing. Also, on the side of the vehicle, you'll notice that there are no lower door moldings. All Heritages had no lower door moldings. On a base 200 series, every single one of them is going to have a lower door molding, and it's typically going to be chrome unless somebody pulled it off and actually painted it. Those lower door moldings were actually have holes behind it, and they're clipped in there. So it's something that's pretty hard to actually pull off without actually doing some actual body work on the vehicle. So that's one thing that you'll notice on all Heritage models. Also, on the side mirror, you're going to have this little swoosh here on a Heritage model, which will not be on the base model. This will also come in a chrome. However, this particular truck has a full chrome delete. Another Heritage giveaway is going to be the Toyota Land Cruiser Vintage badge that you would see like on a 40 series, except for this is actually applied with VHB tape as opposed to being riveted on the actual vehicle itself. So this is totally removable. And then the last exterior difference on a Heritage is going to be the grille. This particular Heritage grille looks very similar to a non-Heritage grille, except for it does have a place for a light bar cutout. So on a base model, you're going to have another one of these accent bars going along right here. And on the Heritage, they actually have a spot for a cutout for a 30-inch light bar, which we have installed on this truck. Moving on to the inside, you're going to have a couple little differences on the Heritage Edition. The first is going to be the interior leather. It has a bronze stitching located along all the rows, and in this case, being a 2021, it actually was available on a third row, although this is a two-row version. And then also here in the center console, there is no cool box. It was not available on a Heritage, but it would be there on all base models. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our extensive list of modifications that we've done to this 200 Series Land Cruiser. For starters, let's go ahead and talk about the chrome delete. This truck comes in 218, which is a midnight black metallic, which is a metallic black exterior. We have removed the grille and we've sent it to our body shop and had it painted to a matching 218 magnetic black metallic paint. So the grille matches. These chrome strips right here are now color match paint. Not only are they color match paint, but they are also protected with a clear layer of XPEL paint protection film, as is the entire vehicle. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Kind of moving on to the other areas of the vehicle. Being a Heritage, you're going to have the black headlights. So we got black, and then we have this that's chrome that we changed to black. On a Heritage, it's going to come with a black chrome front grille. But unfortunately, Toyota didn't match the rear chrome with a black chrome. They had the rear chrome was a bright chrome. So we made it all match with the same 218 magnetic black metallic paint. And then also the lower fog surrounds right here. This is two pieces. It's this top piece and then this lower piece as well. Those come in chrome and those have been converted to black. Moving on to the side, on the Heritage Edition Land Cruiser, you're going to have a different mirror cap than you would on a base. The difference is it's going to have this chrome swoop right underneath of this, and we have that painted black as well. Moving on to the side of the vehicle, you'll have your window belt moldings that go along here. Those come in chrome, and those have been painted matte black to match the sheen of your plastic moldings. And then kind of moving on towards the back of the vehicle, you have your vintage Toyota Land Cruiser emblem that comes in chrome, and we've painted that black as well. And then the chrome trim pieces that go underneath of your tail lights and your reflectors are going to be also removed and painted black. Sand prep painted and cleared all the way along here, including the sombrero and the V8 badge, and then the matching pieces that are symmetrical to the driver's side. Okay, so moving into the protections on the vehicle. The entire vehicle is wrapped in XPEL Ultimate Plus paint protection film. One thing that you'll notice when you have paint protection film installed by certain vendors is that they will typically have a line somewhere along the vehicle that you're going to be able to find. And on this particular truck, you will find no lines because they are 100% are overcut and traced in and wrapped underneath here and then glued on the edges. So you'll notice that when the door is shut, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that there is actual film on this vehicle. And that goes for all the panels, all the doors, including the hood. There's just really no way of knowing that it has a layer of XPEL paint protection film on the vehicle unless you start opening the panels and then looking for those lines that are glued on the inside. Every panel has film on it, so every emblem has been removed and then reinstalled on top of the film. Okay, moving on to the suspension. This truck actually doesn't have a lift on it. The reason it probably looks just a little bit higher than stock is because we have the Toyota Genuine part, an OEM level kit. This level kit that Toyota sells just adds another ½ inch or so of height. In this truck, we thought that was going to be super important to have because we're adding a little extra weight in the front with a hidden winch, as well as dual battery setup. So we have a little bit of weight pulling it down, so we wanted to bring that back up. And also we wanted to add a 285/65/18 tire without it having much or any rub at all. So what we have here is the Yokohama Geolander LT 285/65/18 tire with the mud guards fully intact without actually being modified or cut or heated up or bent. So we have a nice fitting tire, although it has stock suspension on it. It really gives it a more of a rugged look by having the all-terrain tire on it. This is the all-terrain Geo 15 model. Moving on to the side, we have some additional protection here. These are the Slee form sliders for the LX570/LC250. We also have a set of skid plates underneath the vehicle, and those are BudBuilt skid plates. Okay, so moving on to the hidden winch. We're using a WARN Zeon 12S Platinum winch. This is the top end WARN winch. It is a synthetic rope, wireless controller, dual clutch setup. It fits perfectly on the Trail Tailor hidden winch mount. And then we've got it nice and trimmed off with a couple Factor 55 1.5 inch fair lead, as well as a Factor 5 inch ultra hook. Okay, so for the front light bar, when you have a Heritage Edition, one of the cool things about having a Heritage is you're gonna have the ability to put a front light bar inside of it without it looking kind of weird. The base models that had an additional thin piece here, you'd actually have to chop it. As you can see, Toyota's actually designed this light bar so that it can fit a light bar in the vehicle with very, very minor modifications to the grille. It's just a little bit of a cut and slice. We've chosen to go with the rigid 30-inch adapt light bar. And again, this entire electrical modifications with the front light bar, with the dual battery, and with the scene lights, those were all done here at Martin Toyota. Okay, so while we're talking about lights, we have these two Rigid Industries scene lights. These are a 30-degree spread angle in amber, and they're just mounted onto the side of the front runner roof rack. We have them switched independently through the Switch Pro 9100 so that we have the driver's side and the passenger side independent. They don't take much of any battery draw whatsoever. So you could have these on for, literally probably a week without it even draining the battery, the auxiliary battery. The front runner Slimline 2 roof rack really is quite versatile. It is a little bit taller than your normal roof rack, still under your 82 inches to fit in a normal standard household garage. But the cool thing about this roof rack, besides just being a little bit extra beefy than most of the other modular ones on the market, is that it has the ability to store this accessory camp table. This is made out of stainless steel. So you always have a table to bring around without getting your car dirty and moving things around on the inside. You have a nice solid stainless steel table that's always going to be with you wherever the vehicle's at. And then it does have a little locking mechanism right here. So if you were somehow worried about somebody, figuring out what this is, pulling up on this and stealing it, because it is about a $500 table, you can actually put a little lock in there, like a little TSA lock, and keep that secured. Okay, so one of the things about the back, typically on a 200 series, you're gonna have a reflector right here. That's not gonna be a light, it's just gonna be a straight up reflector. We did delete that reflector and added a Rigid Industries D-Series Midnight Edition diffused reverse light. So when the car does go into reverse, these lights do turn on automatically, just to get a little bit more of a light spread when the car is in reverse in a really dark setting. Okay, so now that we have the back opened up, one thing to kind of note is it is a 2-row model. Only the Heritage Editions offered a 2-row, and that would have been in 2020 and 2021. This is a 2021. In 2020, they made 1,100 Heritage Edition Lane Cruisers, and they were all 2-row. In 2021, they also made another 1,100 Heritages. However, they did offer a 3rd-row option or a 2-row option, and this is a 2-row 21 Heritage, so it makes it kind of unique. The 2-row models had a cargo cover, which can be installed right here in these little brackets right here, so that you can have a little fabric retractor to cover up your valuables, maybe your golf clubs or your briefcase or whatever. It wouldn't necessarily make it more secure, but any prying eyes in the window would be nice and covered, and may even keep, you know, your groceries a little bit cooler on a hot day. But everything else back here is going to be standard to the 200 series. One thing that has been modified is the tailgate cover. This is a Trail Tailor tailgate locker. Most of the base Land Cruisers are going to have cutout right here, and then you'll have 2 storage compartments for like your toolkit and whatever you want. The nice thing about this particular thing is it's quite secure. It does have a lock, so it can be locked right here, but also it's just extremely, if you want to keep a firearm or something that's more valuable back here, it's going to be more or less completely hidden unless somebody knows exactly where they're going and what they're looking for. So it is kind of a nice hidden area, plus it's locked under lock and key. On the tailgate, we have 2 lights, amber and white. So it's just installed with a triple rocker switch. The middle position is off, and then we have down is going to be your red, and then white. So we have our typical Toyota Group 31 crank battery. This has been replaced once with an OEM genuine replacement. That's a true start. You notice there's a couple additional fuses that we're going to talk about once we kind of get over to the auxiliary side. So we have a Slee auxiliary battery tray. This is going to accommodate a Group 31 battery, and we're using a Battle-Born Group 35 gel battery, AGM, as your auxiliary. So all of our accessories, our winch, our scene light, our light bar, our USB ports on the inside, they're actually all wired to the auxiliary battery. So if you're using your truck on a camp setting, an overland setting, you're not going to any kind of worry or jeopardize the integrity of the crank battery and leave yourself stranded. With that said, there actually is a really cool feature that we've added to this vehicle, and that is a Redarc SBI12 smart battery isolator. So in the event that your crank battery dies, which someday, of course, the typical lifespan is about 5 years or so, when and if that battery dies and you're in a position where you don't have jumper cables or you're not near anyone else to call roadside assistance, you can press one button on the Switch Pro. It'll physically link the 2 batteries together, and you will jumpstart your crank battery off of the auxiliary battery. And this vehicle has that equipped already from the time that we wired this dual battery up initially when we sold the car in 21. One more thing to mention on the dual battery setup here is the isolation is linked through a Redarc BCDC 1240D smart battery charger. Cool thing about this charger is it is a 40 amp charger, but also it does have the ability for a solar charge. So if you wanted to bring a solar blanket or a solar panel or a solar briefcase to camp and charge your battery while you're camping without having to actually turn the motor on, there's an input already on this for that. You just need to physically plug it in. One additional modification that we haven't mentioned yet too is that this truck does have a 12.5 gallon LRA extended range fuel tank. So you have about half the capacity of the main tank, the 25 gallon main tank, and you have a 12.5 extra. So once you get to half on the gauge, you can do a full refill while driving by just pressing this button located right here on the dashboard. And that's pretty much a wrap on the modifications that we've done on this particular 200 series Land Cruiser. Again, it's the final year of the 200 series Land Cruiser, so it's a 2021, last year of the naturally aspirated V8 model in North America. If you missed your opportunity and you're looking at getting one now, this truck is for sale as it sits right now. The title of this video, it will say for sale if it's for sale. And then once we sell the vehicle, we'll probably just change the word for sale to sold. And my personal contact information will be listed in the video comment section. So if you have any interest, please reach out to me. And we'll also have a link to our website with additional photographs of the car. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Even if it does say sold, we'll probably go ahead and leave the video live just so you can timestamp it or archive any particular modification for reference as an inspiration on a truck that you're building for yourself. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you like it, and stay tuned for future Land Cruiser content.